The air in Litherland turned icy that November. A bone-chilling wind whipped through the streets, carrying whispers of a horror that had pierced the heart of their community. 17-year-old Michael Moss, a boy with a kind smile and a love for football, was gone. Snatched away in a crime so vicious, so cold-blooded, it left everyone reeling. This wasn't just another news story. This was a wound torn into the fabric of their lives. Mothers clutched their children a little tighter. Fathers looked at their teenage sons, a flicker of fear in their eyes. How could this happen here? In their quiet town, where doors were often left unlocked and neighbors knew each other by name. The answer, as it slowly unraveled, was more complex and more terrifying than anyone could have imagined. It spoke of a darkness lurking beneath the surface, a simmering rage in the hearts of teenagers, fueled by a toxic mix of bravado and boredom. It spoke of a society grappling with its demons, struggling to understand the motivations behind such senseless violence. This is the story of the Reservoir Dogs Murder, a story of a life stolen, a family shattered, and a community forever changed. It's a story that needs to be told, not to glorify the perpetrators, but to understand the roots of their evil. A story that serves as a chilling reminder that darkness can lurk in the most unexpected places, and that we, as a society, have a responsibility to shine a light on it and fight for a safer future for our children. Michael Moss wasn't just a name in a headline, he was a son, a brother, a friend. He was the life of the party, always ready with a joke and a mischievous grin. His laughter echoed through the halls of his school, and his presence brightened even the dullest day. Michael dreamed of playing football professionally, his eyes sparkling with passion whenever he stepped onto the field. He was a pillar of his family, the eldest of 3 children, always there to lend a helping hand. His mother, heartbroken and lost in a sea of grief, remembers him as her gentle giant, a boy with a heart of gold. He had so much love to give, she whispers, clutching his favorite football jersey, now a painful reminder of a future stolen. Friends recall his infectious laughter and his unwavering loyalty. He was the one you could always count on, the one who would stick by you no matter what. His absence left a gaping hole in their lives, a constant reminder of the fragility of life. Michael was more than just a victim. He was a vibrant young man with dreams, aspirations, and a future filled with promise. His life was a tapestry woven with love, laughter, and the unbreakable bonds of family and friendship, a tapestry brutally ripped apart on a cold November night. The events leading up to Michael's murder unfolded with a chilling normalcy. He had been out with friends, enjoying a Friday night like any other teenager. As the night wore on, they decided to head home, their laughter echoing through the quiet streets of Litherland. Unbeknownst to them, a group of teenagers, their minds consumed by a twisted plan, were lurking in the shadows. The gang, inspired by the violence they had witnessed in the film Reservoir Dogs, had been plotting a robbery. Armed with knives and a thirst for power, they targeted Michael and his friends, their young faces contorted in a grotesque mockery of adulthood. The attack was swift and brutal, a whirlwind of violence that left Michael bleeding on the cold pavement. His friends, paralyzed by fear, could only watch in horror as their friend was mercilessly beaten and stabbed. The attackers, their faces hidden by balaclavas, seemed to relish in the terror they inflicted. They fled into the night, leaving Michael fighting for his life on the blood-soaked pavement, his dreams and his future slipping away with every passing moment. The investigation that followed Michael's murder sent shockwaves through the community. The perpetrators weren't hardened criminals. They were teenagers, some as young as 14, their lives seemingly ordinary until that fateful night. The ringleader, a boy barely old enough to shave, had become obsessed with the film Reservoir Dogs, mimicking its violence with chilling accuracy. Interviews with their families and friends painted a picture of troubled youths grappling with anger, resentment, and a desperate need for acceptance. Some came from broken homes, craving a sense of belonging that they found in the camaraderie of the gang. Others seemed lost in a world of violent video games and desensitizing media, blurring the lines between fantasy and reality. Psychiatrists who examined the teenagers pointed to a complex interplay of factors contributing to their descent into violence. Lack of parental supervision, social isolation, and the pervasive influence of gang culture all played a part in shaping their worldview. Their young minds, still developing, were easily swayed by peer pressure and the allure of power that came with wielding a weapon. Justice for Michael. The trial and its aftermath. The trial of Michael's killers was a harrowing ordeal for his family. The courtroom became a battleground of emotions as the prosecution presented a mountain of evidence detailing the brutality of the crime. Witnesses, including Michael's friends, recounted the events of that night, their voices trembling with unshed tears. The defense attorneys argued that the teenagers were victims of their environment, products of a society that had failed them. They pointed to their difficult upbringings and their exposure to violence as mitigating factors. However, the jury was unconvinced. After weeks of agonizing testimony, they returned with a guilty verdict, holding the teenagers accountable for their actions. The judge, his voice heavy with emotion, sentenced the teenagers to lengthy prison terms, acknowledging the devastating impact of their crime on Michael's family and the community as a whole. The sentences, while bringing a sense of closure, did little to ease the pain of Michael's loved ones. Scars that remain. The enduring impact on Litherland. The Reservoir Dogs murder cast a long shadow over Litherland. The once peaceful community was now grappling with a sense of collective trauma, the aftershocks of the crime reverberating through every street and every home. Parents became more protective, fearful of letting their children out of their sight. The park where Michael was killed, once a place of laughter and joy, became a somber memorial, a constant reminder of the violence that had shattered their innocence. The community, though wounded, came together in the aftermath of the tragedy, organizing vigils and fundraisers in Michael's memory. They channeled their grief into action, demanding better street lighting, increased police patrols, and more resources for youth programs. The murder served as a wake-up call, forcing them to confront the underlying issues of youth violence and gang culture that had plagued their community for too long. Echoes of violence, a community grapples with loss. The impact of Michael's murder extended far beyond the boundaries of Litherland. It sparked a national conversation about youth violence, forcing people to confront the uncomfortable realities of a society grappling with the consequences of its own failings. Experts weighed in, offering theories and solutions, but for Michael's family, the pain was all too real. His mother, her voice raw with grief, became an advocate for victims' rights, speaking out against gang violence and the need for early intervention programs. "No parent should have to bury their child," she said, her words echoing the pain of countless others who had lost loved ones to senseless violence. The media descended upon Litherland, eager to dissect the story and offer their own interpretations of the tragedy. Some exploited the tragedy for sensational headlines, while others sought to delve deeper, exploring the complex societal factors that contributed to the crime. Through it all, Michael's family and friends remained steadfast in their pursuit of justice and their determination to honor his memory. Preventing the unthinkable. Addressing the roots of teen violence. In the aftermath of the Reservoir Dogs murder, the question on everyone's mind was, how could such a tragedy have been prevented? Experts pointed to a multifaceted problem, requiring a multi-pronged approach. Early intervention programs, designed to identify at-risk youth and provide them with the support they need, were deemed crucial. These programs, they argued, could offer counseling, mentorship, and alternative activities to steer young people away from the allure of gangs and violence. Increased funding for education and job training was also seen as essential, providing young people with a sense of purpose and a path to a brighter future. Addressing the root causes of poverty, inequality, and social isolation was also paramount. Creating a society where all young people feel valued, supported, and empowered was seen as the most effective way to break the cycle of violence and prevent future tragedies. A mother's plea, finding hope in the face of tragedy. Throughout the ordeal, Michael's mother remained a beacon of strength and resilience. Fueled by an unwavering love for her son and a fierce determination to honor his memory, she channeled her grief into a powerful force for change. She established a foundation in Michael's name, dedicated to providing support for victims of violence and advocating for stricter laws against gang activity. Her message resonated with people across the country, inspiring them to take action and demand better for their children. "We can't bring Michael back," she would say, her voice filled with emotion. but we can fight to ensure that no other parent has to endure this pain. Her courage and unwavering commitment to justice became a source of hope for a community shattered by loss. She reminded them that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit has the capacity to overcome adversity and emerge stronger. Conclusion: a call for change, a promise for a safer tomorrow. The Reservoir Dogs Murder stands as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of youth violence. It's a story that continues to haunt the community of Litherland, a chilling testament to the fragility of life and the enduring power of grief. But it's also a story of resilience, of a community coming together to heal and to fight for a safer future. Michael's legacy lives on, not only in the hearts of those who loved him, but also in the countless lives touched by his mother's unwavering advocacy. The tragedy served as a catalyst for change, sparking a national conversation about youth violence and the urgent need for preventative measures. The road ahead is long and arduous, but the fight continues. By addressing the root causes of youth violence, investing in our children, and creating a society that values compassion and understanding, we can honor Michael's memory and work towards a future where such tragedies are a distant memory.